The minor actor from The King of Queens becomes a groveler in mom jeans. Yeah, he's the friend from hell for selling out Chappelle. Comedian Patton Oswalt has apologized for being friends with Dave Chappelle after performing with his longtime pal on New Year's Eve. Yeah, it looks like when the balls dropped, Patton's disappeared. Look at him. What happened to Oswalt? He looks like Joe DeVito's grandmother. I don't even know what she looks like. She's probably hotter than that, though. Sorry, Joe. I didn't mean to objectify your probably dead grandmother. Oh, anyway, apparently, they were doing shows. They were doing shows next door to each other. I mean, she might be alive, but we don't know. They were doing shows Friday night in Seattle when Oswalt got a call to join Dave's show. And Oswalt wrote, why not? I waved goodbye to this hell year with a genius I started comedy with 34 years ago. I ended the year with a real friend and a deep laugh. Can't ask for much more. Well, it turns out Oswalt could ask for much more, namely approval from strangers online who saw the photo with Chappelle and didn't approve. So Oswalt put up another post, which reads in part, I'm an LGBTQ ally. I'm a loyal friend. There's friction in those traits that I need to reconcile myself and not let cause feels of betrayal in anyone else, whatever. And I'm sorry, truly sorry, that I didn't consider the hurt this would cause or the depth of that hurt. So an old friend did Oswalt a favor by letting him come join his show. Then Oswalt groveled before strangers while throwing Chappelle under the bus, all to scrape up some relevance on Instagram. A comic hasn't used another like that since Tom Arnold married Roseanne. That's what friends are for, right? Wrong. You'd have to be a real clown to do that. Right, Professor Sniffles?
Unfortunately, this kind of treachery is common in the entertainment business. Sure, there's a comic I helped get his start, back when he didn't know a whoopee cushion from Whoopi Goldberg. I said, kid, you want to spend your whole career performing for 5 people in the back of a pizza place? Or would you rather perform for 10 people in front, like me? Did I get any thanks? No. More like a giant novelty-sized shoe in my ass. Joe Mackey, thanks for nothing. Fight the real enemy.
Pulling a Sinead. Well, I'm going to go to you, Joe. You know, I was when this whole thing was unfolding, it was probably the biggest story of the night. People were going crazy. Oswalt was close to doing something magical. Like, he could have served as an example to everybody else by sharing the risk with his old friend and saying, you know, screw you, I'm not going to apologize. But he didn't. It was almost as though, like, everybody knew he was going to apologize, right?
Yeah, there was a teachable moment there, but it wasn't the moment that he thought it was, and it wasn't teaching what he thought it was.
Yeah.
Now, look, people have posted photos with me that they later regretted.
Yes.
They were family photos. But this was so lame to do this. There's so many things he could have done differently. The first thing he could have done was not reply to any of it.
Right.
That's the way you handle this. You let it go away, and then they move on. Like any other bully, they move on to someone else who responds and gives them that juice that they need. So what he should have said was, and this is really sad, that 30-something years of friendship, and to sacrifice it for the approval of a mob of people that you don't even know, it's really lame, and it doesn't work. That's the most frustrating part, is that it doesn't matter what kind of an ally you are or what your stated opinions are. When they set their sights on you and it's your turn in the barrel, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, you know, and Kat, Joe's point is well taken. That, like, he actively had to go look for the problem. Like it was like he doom scrolled the comments to find the sorrow that forced him to do this. That's a certain type of human being, and I don't want to kick him while he's down. But what an idiot, stupid jerk,
wow, for somebody who doesn't want to do something.
coward, loser, trash bucket. Anyway, the bigger question, Kat, is, and I think you're thinking it too, would you defend me no matter what horrible, disgusting political opinion I hold?
I think I do. I'm still sitting here.
Yeah, that is true. Don't forget it.
Yeah, you won't let me. But no, like 34 years seems like a really long time to be. I mean, again, I haven't been alive that long, so I don't know. But it seems like a really long time to be a friend of someone and be like, you know what? I need these strangers' opinions on what kind of guy that he is.
Exactly.
And the even weirder thing is, can we show that photo that was with his apology? He posted this photo with his apology. Where did this picture come from? Like, did he take it for this, or did he go through his camera roll? Like, where's my most thoughtful-looking journal picture that I can post? Very strange.
Really
all of it
smart.
is strange. Yeah, like who took this and when?
Oh my God.
On the other hand, in this picture, it looks like Dave Chappelle were the world's oldest Make-A-Wish kid.
Why so many notebooks?
Yeah, but I'd say, like, I actually feel like it's worse.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
I feel like not only should he not have apologized, he should have said the truth, which is that Dave Chappelle's special, the very things he said on that special, were more positive and more supportive and will do actual more measurable benefit to the trans community than anything all those like online commenters will ever do. Like, it isn't not just that Dave Chappelle should be allowed to say what he said. He actually moved the issue of trans rights forward, and we're living in such a crazy world now that no one recognizes it. He shouldn't have just said, "Oh, sorry," or not said anything. He should have slapped back and said, "No, this guy did more for that community than anybody else has done in years."
You're such a turf.
I am, except for the R part.
You know, can I say what?
What does R stand for? I forgot.
Radical.
Radical. But you are a feminist.
I'm a term.
Right-handed.
Yeah. But by the way, Nick, before your important point is,
Yes, thank you.
You have a theory. Don't you have a theory, a Patton Oswalt theory you'd like to share with America, our millions of viewers?
I think that you are the second Oswald. I think you are his aspiration. Like, you know, people come in different kind of vague categories, and you're at the apex of the category that includes Patton Oswalt.
There you go. So there are two Oswalds.
So he's jealous of you. Everything he does
Second
is
Oswald.
to try and, you know, and try to supplant you.
That's it. Would you have another theory?
Yeah. Now, the one thing that I take out of situations like this, which I find great comfort in, because, you know, at rock bottom, I'm just an internet troll like everybody else. The fact that celebrities, entertainers, politicians, leaders, the Pope, even the Pope gets into the comments on Twitter and on Instagram. And it is a great world to live in, where you cannot say anything without immediately getting 1 million comments telling you to go to hell.
Yeah.
And you feel a need that you have to engage them. That's a structural change from 20 or 30 years ago, and I think it's quite beautiful.
Well, it plays off kind of a human need, like. For some reason, and Kat will back me up on this, there's a greater need to read the criticism than the compliment. Even though you claim you like the compliment, the criticism has a 5 times stronger pull.
Right.
Like, you want, if there's 2 boxes, and this one you know is negative and this one's positive, you're going to open up the negative one first.
Yeah, it hurts more.
Yeah.
It has a little bit more of a sting to it.
Yeah.
And it's, like you said, Nick, it's amazing that people have that power now to troll.
Yeah.
Because, you know, back in the day, you had to send a letter bomb.
Yes.
You had to put in some effort.
Tell me about it.
Just think the
commit.
And blame the
Unabomber.
Unabomber.
The Unabomber would have just been a great tweeter.
You know, that's an interesting point. We would have had fewer assassinations if we had social media.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. But it sounds like a provocative idea for a Salon article I was contemplating. Maybe it'll be on Slate. I get Salon and Slate confused, the way I get confused with the Daily Beast and a huge pile of No one's mentioned that Patton Oswalt played a rat.
A talking rat.
A talking rat.
Talking rat.
Now, talk about that. Talk about self-fulfilling prophecy. Am I right, America? You're right, Greg.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.